Steven, what's more exciting news? YouTube TV giving us customizable quad boxes? I already know your answers. I don't know why I'm asking this. Or the return of backyard baseball?
Oh, it's the return of backyard baseball.
Yeah,
1,000%. Look, you don't get it. You won't get it.
I don't. I didn't play it. I didn't play it.
You won't get it, man. And I'm sorry that you don't, and I'm sorry to anyone else who doesn't. But this backyard baseball is my NCAA football 2025. Like, this is what I've been waiting my entire life for.
Jesus.
And I actually mean it, unlike a lot of people. I think they were just saying, oh, yeah, I've been waiting for NCAA football, when really it wasn't that great of a game. It's just
the new one or the old one?
The old ones.
Well, dude, it was the only chance you had to play college football in a video game format.
It was mid, as the kids say.
Yeah, as the kids say. Look at you trying to be young.
I heard you and Alon trying to dissect what skibbity whatever it means.
Skibbity toilet? Yeah, someone at my work today brought it up, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And it's bad when the kids, like this was a 24-year-old kid, young Tony, that works for us at KMBR. He didn't even know what skibbity toilet meant. Well, he did, but he was like, "This shit's ridiculous to me."
So supposedly, it is just to make fun of boomers because that was a thing. The scat music was a thing.
See, okay, that's okay. I thought it was scat related, toilet, but so wait a minute. So that's a way of making fun of people scatting.
Supposedly.
That's ridiculous because scatting is a fantastic form of music.
That is according to one of the promotions coordinators at our station named Kalea. She's, I think, in her early 20s. So I went to her on that advice because I didn't know what it was. And I think, you know, another thing that's becoming more popular too, you're going to see this around demure. Demure is like a new thing now. There's a trend.
You mean the head coach of Alabama used to be at Washington, Kalen Demure?
No, Derek. Not talking about Kalen Demure. It's Demure. I don't know what it is. It's like a TikTok thing, but people are all saying because of some TikTok user who said in a video in a very funny way, very mindful, very demure. So that's a thing. You're going to see a lot of that in the comments now. Very mindful, very demure. Although you work at KMBR, so you're probably not going to see that too much because your demographic is not exactly in the early 20s. And granted, 95.7 is not going to see it much either. KCBS definitely ain't going to see it, ain't going to hear it. But yeah, that's the thing. It's a new thing.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to get with it. Back to the skibbity toilet, like. Why people shitting on scatting? Scatting is a fantastic form of music where you don't even need like instruments. You can just use your voice. Yeah.
I don't get it.
You don't get scatting?
No, I don't get skibbity toilet. I get scatting.
Scatting's fantastic. Rigga-goo-goo.
Yeah. Popularized by Jack Black.
Exactly. Jack Jables knows how to scat.
Mm-hmm.
He knows how to scat. Okay, so tell me about this backyard baseball thing, because yes, I know I'm familiar with the game, but why now is it making a comeback? Is it a effort to get kids back into baseball? Because MLB The Show is very popular, but baseball's not the hottest thing anymore. So why are they doing this?
Could be. I think there's just been a hunger for it. And I don't know if it's still humongous entertainment. I don't know if that's the series of video games that still produces it. But there has been people calling for backyard baseball, and they tried coming out with these new iterations because early it was backyard baseball, backyard football, and then they started bringing actual athletes into it. But I think they're trying to recreate the older version of the game because the newer versions that they came out with on the computer were not that great. It was like in 2003 and 2004, and ever since then, they've kind of been defunct. But dude, it just really speaks to my childhood. And look, Derek, I'm sorry, man, but like when you're saying back in my day, because the Sports Reporters is coming back potentially, which is cool, at least in an online capacity. On like
shout out Mike Lupica.
But I'm not here to show off, but Like if you were going to ask a kid in the early 2000s, whose sleepover do you want to go to? The one who's going to wake up at 6 a.m. on Sunday so he could watch sports reporters, or the one who's going to have backyard baseball locked into his computer at all times? Maybe we could play Pajama Sam if we got some time later tonight, bro. Come over and have a sleepover.
Yeah, I'm not trying to entice kids on what's the best sleepover thing. I'm just telling you that, and the back of my day tweet that I sent out, that was totally for you because I knew you would call me on that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
The back of like sports reporters, I guess there's a rumor that it's coming back. That was just a good feeling. Like I don't love the show. It was basically PTI before PTI. Like Michael Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser used to be on that show a lot, but it was like, older reporters, Mike Lupica, Mike Abbott, I want to say his name, or no, sorry, Mitch Abbott of Detroit Free Press, or whatever the publication is. Like Skip Bayless used to go on that show. And it was just a show in the morning, early on ESPN, and you knew the day was going to start with football. So you just watch that, you get through the day, and then you got Sunday countdown. So
doesn't it feel like something's up with ESPN?
Muted.
Damn mic, man. It keeps on unplugging and plugging back in. Hang on 1 second.
You need some tape?
Give me a minute.
Yeah, John Saunders, as Ernie once said. John Saunders used to host that show.
Yeah, he
and Bob Lee.
But I think that ESPN is kind of realizing that Stephen A. Smith in this new contract is not gettable. They would be spending a lot of money on him, and I think with all the firings that are happening now, them trying to cut down, I don't know if this is going to have anything to do with regular programming, but it just feels like, because it is on the web, but it feels like they're trying to recreate, kind of like backyard baseball, to be honest. They're trying
a little
to
bit
recreate something that people used to love. I don't know if it's going to hit the same now when it's Jeremy Schaap.
ESPN.
ESPN. I think he's supposed to be one of the guys. And I think who are the other ones involved? Joe Buck.
I actually didn't read the details. I just saw that Florio wrote about, and I was like, yeah, Sports Reporters. I remember that show.
Yeah.
If it's like the way it used to be back in the day, or if it's going to be, hot takey, if it's going to be around the horn, then I'll pass. Yeah. And around the horn, I used to love that show. I was talking about it today, but around the horn, God, like, it used to be fun. Now it's just like people just getting on their soapbox about shit. And I agree with everything they're talking about, but it's just like, okay, we get it. Like, just get to sports. I don't need to hear Stat Boy Tony Reali's take on everything.
Well, Tony Reali's the show, though, right?
No, it was really a showcase for Tim Cowlishaw or
Woody Page,
and what was on his chalkboard. Michael Smith, Jay Mariotti. But no,
Frank Isola.
Frank Isola, Frankie
Looks
Ice.
Like who absolutely knows the best place in New York to get a slice of pizza.
Oh yeah, he also kind of looks like he's the human form of a Muppet.
What?
He has a face that's very Muppety. Frank Isola.
I don't know if I can agree with you on that.
If you take like a regular Muppet,
right,
and when the way they look, not like like any of the Jim Henson, like Kermit the Frog or Fozzie Bear, a human Muppet. That's what Frank Isola looks like.
I can't picture a human Muppet though. All I know is Jim Henson Muppets.
Okay, look up the. Remember that like R-rated Muppet movie they made with Melissa McCarthy?
No.
Oh yeah, there was like a hard R Muppet movie that came out a couple years ago.
Oh, hello.
And that's what the lead character in that looks like, Frank Isola.
Huh.
All right. Regardless of all that, you're missing the point here, Steven. We got what we wanted for so long. The multi-view is going to have now optional things. So when we're watching football, and I just paid a steep price for Sunday ticket, Jesus Christ, that lawsuit meant jack shit for all of us, even though that lawsuit was thrown out.
You were so excited.
Yeah, but that didn't mean anything for us, and I waited too long. But now that I did this one, I guess I get it renewed every year. But whatever that is, it costs way too much. Regardless, you're getting your money's worth now on YouTube TV. You get to pick and choose which games you get in the quad box now. I'm very happy.
It's just a question of whether it will work, because last year did have some problems in the multi-view. Sometimes it would like malfunction. Did you ever have that problem?
No, but I never had a. Are you talking about like? Well, we never had the option to pick and choose, but you actually had problems with the multi-view, the
Well,
quad box.
you could. I mean, you couldn't choose which games, but they had a bunch of set quad boxes for
Yeah,
you.
but it was never. They always went off of like, what's the biggest matchups record wise? It was
Right.
not done the right way.
Right, for sure. And but I still had it still malfunctioned because on the right third of the screen, it would get all discombobulated and you wouldn't be able to play anything and it would get all messed up.
I didn't have those issues. I did not have those issues.
It might be my TV, but I had that for sure last year.
think
And I
it's your
still have
TV.
that sometimes even with these new multi-view setups that they have with different sports.
Yeah, I think you spaggled wrong, and now something's wrong with your TV.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa. We got a lot to talk about today. We got a lot of football to get to, and I want to get Stephen's opinions on a lot of things that me and Alon cover, namely Gardner Minshew being named the starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders, and I know you want to get into this. Our guy Nick Cage being named John Madden in a biopic. We'll get to all that, but first and foremost, I got to know, how was the trip to Nashville? I've always wanted to go, and I'm jealous that you went.
I was 20 minutes away from Nashville. I was actually in Franklin, Tennessee. And
Okay, either way.
Just went to visit a friend and didn't really do much. So there's no no jealousy factor.
No honky tonks?
No honky tonks. No, nothing like that. Yeah. The guy I went to visit.
Didn't go by bussing with the boys?
No, I did not.
I can't think of anything else you do in Tennessee.
I did not. I did not go hang out.
I'd say
go hang out with the boys and do a beer fest and have all these corny jokes and topics that everyone used on radio 10 years ago, but nobody seems to notice that we're just taking old content and recycling it. What? Did I just okay. Anyway,
wow.
Yeah.
We're shooting on other podcasts now, huh?
I know, right? We only have 3 viewers on this one. I feel like I'm not going to post anything from this, at least at this section. So I feel like I can do that. But yeah, that podcast, it like comes up with segments, and I'm like, dude, this is a radio show segment. Like, you don't need to be doing this. Do different stuff. Anyway, no. So I went to Franklin, visited a friend. I don't know, played golf a little bit. We got paired up with a couple of guys. One of them had like a hardcore Southern accent, and I don't think he liked me very much just because I was from California. Like, as soon as I told him I was visiting and from the Bay Area, he was all right, but he didn't really have much interest in talking. I don't know, maybe that's just how he is, maybe, but I don't think I think I like overheard him talking to my friend saying he hates California. So that was cool. So I said, Jesus Christ, after every shot as much as I could.
Did that offend him?
I think it did.
Good.
I think it might have.
Well, in the end, you're the bigger man, Stephen.
not really. A little petty. No, he was nice enough. But no, I got to tell you, the one thing that kind of sticks out, and the one thing that's really like worth it to talk about on a podcast, very weird on the flight up. First of all, missed my flight. Missed the flight in the morning. That didn't,
Stephen.
That wasn't. Well, look, man, the security line was way too long for 5.
What airline?
It was United. Or
which airport?
Southwest. It was Southwest, excuse me.
Oakland?
Yeah.
Ugh.
It was packed, dude. It was packed before 6. Normally that thing, it's like it takes you 5, maybe 10 minutes to get through security that early in the morning on a Friday.
Yeah.
At least with every trip that I've been on. And this one, there were like teams that were traveling across the country to go compete in tournaments. They all had like their uniform shirts on and everything.
How early
did what?
How early did you get there?
Well, it was not. I did not get there early. I'll say that. But like,
no, go ahead. Give me the details. What time was the flight? What time did you get there?
I may have got there at 5:45, and the flight was at 6:15.
Yeah, Stephen, that's entirely on you.
Yeah, well, not entirely. But anyway, missed the flight.
I see.
Missed the flight and missed the flight. Missed the flight.
I mean, Jessie could give her side of the story if she wants to.
Nah, she was giving me a ride and said, "No, if we leave by this time, you'll be good to go." And then, just wasn't good to go. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So missed the flight. Got and I ended up just shout out to Southwest. They actually quickly put me on another flight, and I just arrived a couple hours later than I normally would have. So no harm, no foul, really. But But on the flight over, on the long flight over, I flew to Burbank first, and from Burbank connected to a different flight.
Wow.
I don't know why I did this, but I've been on like a kind of classic movie kick in a way.
We talking like Hitchcock?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And one I decided to watch or downloaded for the flight was Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, I've seen it.
You've seen that.
Yep.
And, through the first 40 minutes or so, it's not bad. It's just a couple moving into an apartment, and and I've already seen the movie, but I forgot completely about the ritual scene where she's naked and all the neighbors are naked.
Yep.
And it's like a naked ritual.
Yep.
And you're watching that in the middle of the flight, and I'm thinking to myself, I put the phone immediately up to my chest because I was like, oh my God, this is a little much. And then so I'm just looking around. Not a good movie to put on a flight. So if I could recommend anything, do not watch Rosemary's Baby. But at the same time, I was 50 minutes in. I'm not going to stop watching the movie just because of one scene.
There's nothing more awkward. Well, there is, but one of the biggest awkward things you could do is watch a movie on an airplane where there's nudity.
Yep.
And either a kid, if a kid sees you, all right, whatever, kid, you saw some titties for the first time in your life. It's not my fault. It's the first time. Yes. It's the judgment of other people being like, you see this perv? You see this perv in the aisle over here? Look at him. He's watching Rosemary's Baby, probably jacking off to it. That's immediately what I think is like, oh God, they all think I'm a pervert. What's going on here?
I was in the middle too. I was in the middle seat.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah,
that's rough.
And it just starts happening. I'm like, oh man, what do I do? So
do you remember this commercial from the 2000s? There was a commercial where this guy is going on a flight, and they ask him where he wants to sit on the flight, and he goes middle. And even the woman helping him get the seat goes, excuse me? And he's like, no, middle seat. So he sits on the flight, and then he takes out his laptop. And this is way back in the day. He gets all of his technology stuff. Like he gets a laptop on his tray. Then he's able to put his CD player on the left side. He's able to put his camera on the right side. And it's like a Sony commercial or just a laptop commercial where it's just like, hey, look at all this shit that you can put on your laptop. And I just remember the ending where the guy's like looking at all his CDs and he picks one. He's like, what's this? And the guy's like, oh, you like this? And he takes the headphones out of the jack and all you hear is Who Let the Dogs Out by the Baha Men. And it was like, blah, blah, blah laptops where it doesn't feel like you're in the middle seat. I'm like, no one would ever fucking do that. No one would ever fucking do that. No matter, like, if you want to spread out or whatever, no one would ever take the middle seat. And that's the most unrealistic shit ever.
That was
someone has to know that commercial I'm talking about.
Was that a Quiznos ad?
No, I was referencing a Quiznos ad earlier today on the KMBR off-air one. You know which Quiznos ad I'm talking about, Stephen, where the oven talks to the guy and he's like, put it in me, Stephen.
Yeah.
It only aired a couple times.
Well, you do microwave the takes that you've had on this podcast before. All the things I've listened to a little bit of your off-air stuff that you're doing on the KMBR thing, and not everyone listens to this podcast, but it's cool. But
I am only one man, Stephen. There's only so much I could say.
I know. I know. That's the problem with doing so many.
That's what happens, man. When Greg Papa and John Lunn and Tom Tolbert and Adam Copeland don't want to do that at KMBR off-air thing, and they ask me and Walter to do it for free, you're getting recycled material.
Damn it! Plugged again.
All right.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Whatever. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. Before we get to all of the interesting, fun stuff we want to get to today, I hate doing this. We've done this a lot lately. We've lost another Bay Area sports icon and a sports icon in general. We've lost in total 5 that I could think of this year. Bill Walton, Jerry West, Willie Mays, Orlando Cepeda, and now Al Attles dies yesterday, I believe, at the age of 87.
Yep.
And this wasn't much surprise to everybody that knew Al. But just getting, just reading more about him. Like, I've always known him as the Warriors coach that won the 1975 championship. And he was always a fixture at the games. He was always been a part of the organization, but I really didn't know the details of him. So what I've known about learning about Al Attles today, it's that he was drafted by the Philadelphia Warriors back in 1960, and I love this stuff. He moved to the Bay Area, was part of the San Francisco Warriors. Only during his playing days did he play for the San Francisco Warriors. And in his final few seasons, he was a player assistant coach. This always fascinates me when like Bill Russell and I'm trying to think of other guys, but where you were
Jackie Moon.
Jackie Moon, but guys that were player coaches. Like I always think, like, how did they take him seriously? Did they take him seriously? Did they have more appreciation for them because they did both? But yeah, Al Attles was an assistant coach / player. Then his final season in the NBA, he was named the head coach, and he stayed on to be head coach. Then they became the Golden State Warriors. He won the championship in 1975, and this is my favorite thing. Have you seen the clip of him fighting Mike Reardon? Oh my God. This thing is fantastic. I didn't know about it until today. During the NBA Finals, there's a hard foul on Rick Barry. And Al Attles, as the head coach, former player, as the head coach, fights the player that commits the foul on Rick Barry. And it is fantastic. I can't think of many coaches that would do that today, if any. That's something you would never see today. I'm thinking like, can you imagine if Steve Kerr and Klay Thompson throw hands on his first game back? He's like, "Oh, you want to put me in the bench again, you motherfucker?"
Yeah.
But
Wes Unseld holding him back.
Yeah, exactly. The whole thing is fascinating. And yes, his nickname, the Destroyer. He could have been a 70s Raider. Like this, I don't think of a destroyer when it comes to basketball, but apparently his nickname fit his style of play. So yeah, just hearing everybody talk about him today, from Chris Mullin to Jim Barnett to even Tom. Mark Spears knew him very well. Just everyone said he was just the nicest guy in the world. So I think the younger generation, whenever this stuff happens, has to learn about the past, and I always appreciate that. But it's sad when it comes to, someone has to pass away in order to do that. So yeah, rest in peace to Al Attles, man, 87 years old.
Yeah, there's just a lot you kind of learn about these guys. I did know he was the coach, and I've seen that video countless times. I mean, that video, just with how it's just so 70s. It's his outfit that sticks out to me.
Oh
like
man,
collared
he
shirt.
is looking fly as fuck,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, so sharp. They need coaches back to that. We gotta get rid of these coaches team polos with, maybe the set pair of Nike Air Maxes that everyone's required to wear. No, everyone wear their own shoes, come out with their own suits. We need to have coaches looking fly again. None of this polo stuff.
Didn't Steve Kerr, when they were honoring Craig Sager, wear like the best suit ever?
I don't remember.
I vaguely remember that. Like he was rocking like a suit that Craig Sager would wear, and he was doing it to honor him. It was a good taste, obviously. Yeah. But the suit was, I mean, Craig Sager's suits were hit or miss. Like the famous clip is Kevin Garnett just being like, "You need to put this in, you need to throw this away, burn this shit. You need to like be butt ass naked and throw it in the oven." But I remember Steve Kerr wearing a suit like that one time, and dude, if they do like an Al Attles night this year, Steve Kerr should definitely try to wear one of those suits.
Oh, for sure. They got to honor him that way, right?
Yeah,
they have to. There's no doubt. But I really think they should bring that back. I think the NBA needs a little bit of style to return to the game, because everyone's all obsessed with these league fits nowadays. Why can't the coaches do it? But one of the things that sticks out about Al and what you learn is, it's like you said, all the nice things that everyone had to say. And I watched the Warriors Ground documentary that they posted to their Warriors social media, and it's so cool seeing what players, former players like Wilt Chamberlain had to say about him. And you're hearing kind of the same sentiment, which was that they've never met anyone who had a, how should I say this? They never met anyone who had a bad thing to say about him, really. I mean, to put it in simple terms, I forgot the way that Wilt Chamberlain phrased it, but it's cool hearing that, but you're never going to see that again. You're never going to see a guy who's a player coach, GM, team ambassador, doing little things that make a difference in the organization, whether it's winning the 1975 championship with Rick Barry or drafting Chris Mullen 10 years later, sticking around and being there for the 4 championships, being there through the thick and thin, through those Chris Cohan days, through the great timeout days, into the time where the Warriors became who they are. So I'm that's the thing with these two, with kind of death, though, is 87 years old. It's a long time. That's a long time to live. And I'm just glad that he was able to see the Warriors turn into what they did, because I can guarantee you that, after the 80s, obviously they're the Run TMC days or whatever, but after Run TMC was done, I guarantee you he's wondering what the hell is going on with this organization. So I'm glad he was around to see what it looked like from we'll just say 2013 and beyond.
Yeah. So Al Attles passes away yesterday at the age of 87. Lived a long life, held in high regard amongst the NBA and the Warriors organization, and he will be missed. It was clear of that today.
Can I be honest? I went to the Giants game today on my way back, from Bart. Yeah, I know. I wasn't there after the 8th inning, so I was there when I left by the time it was tied.
Didn't want to see it all the way through?
I wanted to get home. Traffic.
Yeah.
Packed out Bart versus Caltrain. Like, I just wanted to get back home.
Fair enough.
So I listened to just like a tiny sliver of KMBR before you guys went to commercial break. And then you guys were teasing what you had going on today. And then Copes mentioned how cool of a nickname, the Destroyer. And then Tom just chimes in, great Kiss album too. And I thought to myself, are there any great Kiss albums? I think Kiss is so overrated.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't feel the same way as Paul Rudd and Sean William Scott in the end of Role Models.
No, they
the whole
love
movie
Kiss.
of Role Models.
They love Kiss, and I don't feel the same.
Love Gun, man.
I don't
love Gun. He's talking about his dick.
He's talking about his dick. I don't. I don't agree with them. I don't agree with Happy Gilmore's grandma. I'm sorry, I don't.
It's a different. I mean, I don't love Kiss, but it's a different form of rock. I'm not a big 80s rock guy.
Right. I guess it is.
I appreciate. So go ahead.
I guess it is a you had to be there thing.
Yeah, you definitely had to be there, but I also there's charm in a bunch of Jewish guys rocking out with face paint on.
Is there?
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
And I've always said, I don't know why I always go to this, but I always go to whenever people ask me, like, are you going to get married? I always say, like, I kind of want to do the Gene Simmons thing. And people are like, the Gene Simmons thing, what does that mean? I was like, he has a wife. Well, it's not his real wife. It's just, okay. It's his partner. It's his woman. They live together. They've been together for a long time. They have kids, but they never married. Kind of like that.
I got nothing.
Oh, okay.
I got nothing.
But you want to say something?
I got nothing.
Got nothing at all?
Nope.
All right, fair enough.
So Gardner Minshew, huh? How about that?
Yes. All right, Steven. So me and Alon were together on Sunday, and right when the show started, I thought we were going to be able to talk about who we think should be the starting quarterback, and it was decided already for us. So what do you think? Gardner Minshew, starting quarterback. You thought that Aiden O'Connell was going to be the guy given the offense and the scheme and whatnot, but they went with Minshew. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I can't say that I agree wholeheartedly with the decision, but I think it goes back to the reasons why I initially thought Gardner was going to be the starting quarterback in the first place. I actually like what Alon said on the pod, that they're both going to play. Just because Gardner Minshew's starting doesn't mean that Aiden O'Connell's just done for the year. They're both going to play. But with Gardner, what that tells me is they don't have faith in the offensive line just yet. That's what that tells me. I know experience is the reason that Antonio Pierce used, which sure. And people forget that Gardner Minshew threw for over 3,000 yards with the Colts, and they were within reach of the playoffs. But once we do the AFC South preview, I think had they had a better quarterback, they might have been a playoff team last year.
Yeah.
Like that's how good they were, especially if they would have been healthy with Jonathan Taylor. I know we're going to talk about the AFC South later. So I'm not trying to knock Gardner Minshew, but just feels like a move where Jackson Powers-Johnson not fully healthy, Colton Miller's just coming back. He just got off the PUP list. So that's what that tells me. I'm not really buying the whole, well, he has more experience, so we're going to start him. No, anyone could tell by watching that game that Aiden O'Connell, and at least the first two games, that Aiden O'Connell just runs the offense in a smoother way. He seems to have more control. And, I see plays like today from practice where Max Crosby is doing Max Crosby things, the unthinkable, and jumping a route. And it has me thinking, like, will Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell be the only two quarterbacks of this offense, or is there maybe another one that they could potentially trade for? I don't know. Anyone out there that's could be available because the rookies might start over them. I don't know.
Can I throw a hypothetical at you?
Yeah, it was
and this is not going to happen, but I did see this from our guy Ted Nguyen. What do you think about Tyson Bagent being the Raiders quarterback?
I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know enough about Tyson Bagent to confidently say, yeah, they should bring him on. You're frozen.
Yeah, hold on. I might be a little later. You know about Tyson Bagent?
I don't know about Tyson Bagent. I was thinking more of like a starter.
Yeah, the only one. I mean, I hear you. He's looked good in the preseason. I like his confidence. He's really impressed me on Hard Knocks. I can see why he's the backup. He just has all the confidence in the world. I mean, that's going to be a fun quarterback room. We've already seen it with Caleb Williams and Tyson Bagent. Because he ran the scheme last year with Luke Getsy. But I hear you. Like, I probably would feel more comfortable with Gardner Minshew over Tyson Bagent. Just an idea. I mean, I don't think Ryan Tannehill is that much of an upgrade. My whole thought on it is I get why they went with Minshew. He definitely brings more mobility. And he brings more experience. And honestly, probably better play. But I think it's easier to bench Aiden O'Connell than it is to bench Gardner Minshew. Once you bench Gardner Minshew, I think that's it. Now, they can go back and forth if they want to, but then it turns into an Andrew Walter, Aaron Brooks situation where it's like, who the hell's the quarterback then?
Right.
So I think once you bench Gardner Minshew, I mean, that's it for him. Like he's a free agent after this year, and then he'll go to another team and be a backup. And I know, like last year, he played well enough to get the Colts in the position to make the playoffs, but he definitely missed the throw on that 4th and 1 play that could have got him to beat the Texans. And I really think it was the benefit of Shane Steichen that helped him. He was with him for a year in Philadelphia, and then he went with him into Indianapolis. So I think the defense is going to have to step their game up a lot in order to win games. I'm cool with Minshew being the quarterback, but the overall take of this quarterback situation is the Raiders, I can't say they fucked up not getting a quarterback, but I mean,
they did.
No, well, yeah, but no one knew what was going to happen with Michael Penix. No one knew that the Falcons were going to take him, and they got totally just blindsided by that. I think the whole league did. Yeah. So they didn't think they needed to jump up. They thought that maybe they'd be able to get one guy to fall to 12. And I'll bring this up too. Bo Nix. I know it's just the preseason, but he's looked pretty solid. And we'll wait to see what happens week 1 when he plays the Seattle Seahawks. But Sean Payton today announced him as the starter. And I didn't know about him in college, but I will say the 4 years playing from Auburn to Oregon gives him a lot of experience. And all the behind the line of scrimmage stuff kind of works for a Sean Payton offense. That's what Drew Brees did. A lot of dinking and dunking stuff, and then he went over the top. So I ask you, Steven, given Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and now the Broncos have their quarterback of the future, we think, do the Raiders have the worst quarterback situation in the AFC West?
No.
Why is that?
I'm not believing in Bo Nix until I see it in the regular season. And I give you one name, and that name is now the backup quarterback to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett. Last year, we thought the Steelers had turned a corner just because they looked like the best team in preseason. That offense was explosive. But Bo Nix, he looks good, sure. But show me in the regular season before I can come to that. I think that's disrespectful to a Raiders quarterback room that at least has had some NFL experience when Bo Nix has had none at all.
Now that's fair. That's totally fair.
So that's where I'm at with that one.
No, I get that. And there's other examples. Like I remember Mitch Trubisky lighting up in preseason. I remember Colt McCoy 10 years ago lighting up in preseason. So yes, I'm with you, Stephen. There definitely could be just, it could be a lot of hype on a guy that looks good in preseason playing against backups. But he looks poised. To answer my own question,
yeah,
I think the answer is yes, just because we don't have any long-term future. I say we again, Jesus. The Raiders don't have any long-term future when it comes to quarterback.
You love them.
Not as much as you think.
You love them.
I just don't think the Raiders they needed to get the quarterback in the draft this year. And maybe they're in a better position to do it next year. Maybe. If they're worse, then yes, they will. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the same boat where they're a 7, 8, 9 win team and they're not towards the top of the draft. So it may bite them in the ass again. I don't know. I don't think they'll ever be as bad as we think they will be, where they can't draft a quarterback, or they'll have to draft the quarterback in the top 5. I think the defense is going to be good, and they're going to win games because of that. But it's not enough offensively where you're like, well, now they got a quarterback. No, they still need to figure that out, and that leads to a bigger topic we'll get to later when we start our new segment called I Give It Till, because this is a ticking time bomb with Davante Adams, I think.
You think so?
I do.
Yeah. I mean, I know Ari Meirov kind of made some waves with that little report that he had earlier out there.
Ari.
When he said that, but it's like, that's nothing new. I think that's a pretty obvious statement to make. Yeah, the Raiders aren't expected to play well. Davante Adams is a star, and they could probably get a first-round pick for him if they're lucky.
I think those days are over.
I think if you're the Raiders, why wouldn't you try and get a first-round pick? Get greedy.
You'll ask. And I think the only team desperate enough to do it would be the Jets.
Yeah. And if they don't, then don't trade them. If they can't get a first-rounder out of it, don't trade them.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
That could be the case. So yeah, I mean, so what's your confidence level now with Gardner Minshew being the quarterback?
I mean, it's the same as it always was,
Same as it ever was.
Yeah, like I'm not seeing this as like a crazy, I don't know. I'm not seeing this as like a 9-win team. I'm thinking at best, maybe I think they could hit that over on whatever it was.
6 wins?
It was like 5.5 wins. Yeah, I think they could hit the over. But I'm seeing a 6 to 8 win team and not much more than that. The guy I'm not even worried about Davante. The guy I'm worried about is Max Crosby. I'm very worried just because, man, the guy wants to win so bad. Like, how long is he going to be able to stand playing on a team like this?
Yeah, but there's no way in hell they're trading him. Davante, there's an argument to be made.
Right. I still just...
I don't care how much Max Crosby bitches and complains that they're not winning enough. They're not trading him.
I hope not. But who knows, man? I mean, in this new age of player empowerment...
No, I'm sorry, but like, no. Just, they paid him. They gave him the contract. No.
Just no.
There's no scenario where they're going to trade him. Even if this past offseason, where I know he told everybody on his podcast, if they don't hire Antonio Pierce, I'm asking for a trade request. Mark Davis would have been like, tough shit. I'm sorry.
Just saying, man. I'm just saying. That's a guy I'm worried about.
Yeah.
That's the career I'm worried about wasting.
I hear you. But he's not the only one. There's a ton of Raider careers that were wasted because they didn't have a good team.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. By the way, our guy AJ Cruz here. Not opinion, but fact. Gene Simmons and Shannon Tweed married in 2011. You need to find another bachelor role model, Derek. Sorry. Yeah, I knew they married eventually, but there was a long time there where they were just, a couple, and I was like, that's a pretty good situation. But there is, yeah, I understand why people get married, right, Stephen?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's the best
Mhm.
thing you do in life.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I don't want to talk a ton about the Niner game because at this point, like, what is there really to look at? It's Dominique. Kyle Shanahan just told us on KMBR, Dominique Pooney's going to be your starting right guard or whatever it is. He's
Yeah.
he's going to be a starting guard. So there you go. That's going to happen. The backup quarterback situation, it's Dobbs or Brandon Allen. I would go with Dobbs. He's just a better playmaker. And then everything else, I don't know. The thing that I didn't understand though is I usually agree with everything Kyle does. I, I don't understand playing Purdy without a left tackle out there because Trent Williams is not going to play any preseason games. But I don't understand having no Debo, no Christian McCaffrey, none of these guys, Kittle, and just telling Purdy go out there and make some plays. I know he needs some great game reps. I usually go with what Kyle says because I trust him and I think he's a very smart coach, but I did question why he wanted to do that. I know today he was like, I really don't care what people think. Like I'm gonna do what I want to do as a coach. I get that. And I respect that. It's your call. You're the head coach. But I've always thought if you're not going to have your starting left tackle out there, then why would you play? Why would you play him in preseason? I don't understand that.
I hear you, but they didn't have a joint practice.
Yeah,
I think that played a huge role in it.
you're probably right.
I mean, I get it because at the end of the day, like I know that they were trying to play it off. Well, it's good for him to get some reps. It's good for him to get some reps and stuff, and to him get hit and stuff, and for timing and stuff, and feel and stuff. I know that I understand all of that, and it might be good for him to get hit, but at the risk of him getting injured, yeah, that didn't make much sense. But I think it's because they didn't have any joint practice, and I think Brock, well, but but at the same time, they said after the game that they made the decision once they touched down from Nashville. But maybe it's because they knew that they weren't going to have joint practices.
I think they knew that. The way that my dad was talking about on the broadcast, he was like, I don't even know if they're gonna be able to have the joint practice there, T-Rock. He knew.
I was able to watch some of the game on the flight, and when we were driving back, Jesse picked me up from the airport, and Jesse picked me up from the airport, and we were listening. We had it in the background, and just listening to your dad and Tim go ape shit over Tanner Mordecai.
Dude, I was texting John Lund during the game, just being like, I think Tanner Mordecai can lead this team to the Super Bowl, John.
I get it. Like,
love a guy named Mordecai.
You gotta build it up. I know it's just preseason. I know it's his job as a play-by-play announcer. It's just so funny getting worked up over an undrafted free agent quarterback who's probably not going to make the team.
Probably not. He may be on the practice squad for all we know. They'll probably keep all three quarterbacks, but yeah. It's just funny. Like a year ago, like 2 years ago, it was this Brock Purdy guy. He could definitely win the Super Bowl for the Niners, and we were like, okay, Greg, you know what you're talking about. He was right. Yeah. But then it's like everybody. It's like, Tanner Mordecai, this guy.
T-Rock.
We got TM Mordecai.
So yeah, a couple of things though from that game. Okay. I mean, the Pooney thing. I get the Pooney thing, but
Pooney push.
And I understand the Renardo Green love that he's getting because he had some sticky coverage on that one play against Chris Olave or whatever. But I think the guy that they should really look forward to, and another steal they probably found, I think this Malik Mustafa is very real. This dude's, I think this dude's just got a, he is going to be considered a ball hawk. He has got a nose for where the ball is going, where to make the tackle, and when he gets a beeline on someone, he's going to knock them on their ass. I think that's going to be a very exciting player to watch.
No, and I thought he had the play 2 weeks ago when he stood up whoever the running back was on 4th and 1 on the goal line.
Yeah.
Or 4th and goal, I guess. So, yeah, no, he's been impressive. I mean, I thought Jacob Cowing was good. The thing with the Niners, we all know. I mean, it's not anything in preseason. We'll see Ricky Pearsall week 1 probably. It's all about Ayuk. It's all about Trent Williams, and we'll see when the hell that happens. Don't even know. Kyle was joking around with us today, just being like, "Yeah, there's so much going on." No, I'm kidding. There's not. So we'll wait, and I'll save it till we do our new segment. I give it till to talk more about Ayuk because we'll see when that happens.
Is part of your give it till going to be I give it till this week when we have Josh Jobs potentially starting over Brock Purdy? Huh?
Is that something you actually believe?
No.
I was watching Dobbs and I was like, and wearing number 5, I was like, is this what they expected Trey Lance to be?
I think I was thinking that exact same thing.
Yeah.
That exact same thing.
Yep.
And maybe they I don't know. Maybe they did. I don't know if they rushed him too quick. Maybe they drafted him too early. Now, Tom Brady was talking about it, and that clip went viral from the Stephen A. Smith show about how they learn the playbook, but they don't learn the program. And Trey Lance was just so highly touted coming out of North Dakota State. He really didn't have much playing time going into the NFL. And Brady thinks that's the reason why a lot of young quarterbacks fail. You're seeing a lot of that. And it really felt like he was, I really felt like he was pointing towards Trey Lance with that. Maybe a little bit, maybe a few from that 2018 class with like Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen and all those guys, with exception to Lamar Jackson. But it felt like he was kind of lumping Trey Lance in with that.
No, he probably was, and I'm very interested to hear what Tom Brady sounds like because he was doing the test run with Kevin Burkhardt at the stadium, and we won't hear him until week 1 when the Browns and Cowboys play each other. But I did find it interesting. I don't know if he's going to be part of the pregame show anymore or going forward. He wasn't last year. Has Julian Edelman always been a part of Fox?
I don't think so.
Well, he was with Krista Thompson. He might have been on that other on the FS1 pregame show.
Right.
But man, yeah, is it just going to be like Brady is doing the games and Gronk and Jules are just hyping him up on the pregame show, the postgame show? Like, I don't know. I have nothing against Brady. I just think there's just too much Brady love sometimes. Where I'm just like, ugh. But you best believe now he's calling games. He's going to be either praised or ridiculed for his color analyst work.
Yeah, I think he's going to be really good. I think he's going to be really good.
So? Okay.
Yeah, I think because I think he's obsessed with preparation and all of that you hear about it. I think he's going to be really good. It might take him a little bit to kind of find his voice, maybe bring out a little of his comedic side, a little more of his fun side, because I think he's going to get really inside football at first. But
he probably will be, but God, he is so robotic when it comes to comedy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. So I don't know what to expect from him, but I don't know. I don't know. I think he'll be pretty good. I think he will be.
I think he'll be solid. I don't know if he's gonna rip anybody. Like he gave an example this past weekend about Daniel Jones. Let's say he throws a pick 6. Everybody's like, "Whoa, Brady's calling out Daniel Jones." I don't want it to be where every fucking, and it will be, but every aggregator site, Dov Kleiman and the rest of the losers out there will be like, "Did you hear Tom Brady calling out Deshaun Watson on this pick 6 he threw?" Well, yeah, no shit.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah. Speaking of quarterbacks that have struggled in the past, Steven, you want to pull up a clip from what used to be your favorite show, the Dan Le Batard show?
Oh, sure. Yeah, the Tua one.
The Tua one, and not Hawk Tua.
Hang on.
By the way, what'd you think of Hawk Tua girl throwing out the first pitch in a Met game?
Yeah, I heard you guys talking about that. So what? She didn't ask for any of this. Like, she didn't ask for any of the fame. She just happened to go on an interview show and she got famous out of it. I don't blame her at all for doing what she's doing.
I don't blame her at all. I just, like I said, she's trying, she doesn't want to be known as the Hawk Tour girl. She's just, I don't think she is like, oh my God, I'm known as the Hawk Tour girl. I think she just wants to do different things. But yeah, Haley, what's her name? Haley Welch?
Yeah.
Okay, Haley Welch. Yeah, she's doing her thing. But, obviously, if I was her dad, I'd be like, oh, man, that's what everybody knows her as.
For sure. But I think also her dad won't mind, the fact that his daughter's probably getting rich just off of this one thing at a very young age. So And this is why social media is so hypocritical. Sometimes it's like they're all they're all pissed off that she's they've made untalented people famous or whatever, and then Haley Welch all of a sudden like gets built up from social media, and now social media is pissed at her for it.
Jesse, Steven, you are so full of shit. You give musicians shit for being famous off of TikTok, but Haley is fine.
I give musicians shit for getting the top billing at a festival when they don't deserve it, and people only go to watch that set so they can watch the TikTok song that they were famous for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's
I
fair.
am salty about that one. Yes.
That's totally fair. I do, and yeah, like, Hawk Tuah girl, Haley Welch, was there to, support animal adoption for dogs. And I'm sure it was for a great cause. But yeah, like I can understand, like, like the Mets fans are like, okay, but why is she throwing out the first pitch? And also, like, in the post game, like, she's doing an interview after the Mets cough up a 5-0 lead. It's just like, and I get it, like like the Mets guy on WFAN that was freaking out. He's like, our two biggest attractions this year are Grimace and Hawk Tuah girl, and yesterday was Kevin James. So, yeah, they're having a ball.
Kevin James, they should be proud of that one.
Well, yeah, I mean, where's he been besides playing Sean Payton in a movie?
He was on Joe Rogan once.
Was he? I could believe that.
Yeah. Did you see the awkward moment with him, by the way? With Russell Crowe.
No, Russell Crowe went on Rogan.
Yeah, so he had Dennis Quaid on, and he had Russell Crowe, and
Dennis
I guess
Quaid.
Yeah, because he's coming out with a movie, right? On Ronald Reagan. He's playing Ronald Reagan in a movie, and
that's actually good casting.
And he had both of them on, and I didn't know this.
Whoa! Hold on. Crowe and Quaid were on together?
No, like separately.
Okay. And, well, you so now you know the story.
Well, yes, and Rogan happened to mention Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
And he's known now because he's known to not really do much research on his guests. Like Rogan knows things, obviously, like the famous movies they've done, but he's not going to do a deep dive into their lives. He kind of just goes on and talks.
Oh boy.
And Russell Crowe's like just awkwardly, he's being nice about it, but he mentions Dennis Quaid, and you could tell he just kind of squirms in his seat. It was pretty funny. And Rogan just did that thing. Yeah, just had Dennis Quaid on. Russell Crowe's like, yeah, all right.
If anybody doesn't know, I forget what movie it is, but Dennis Quaid at one point was married to Meg Ryan. And then Meg Ryan did a movie with Russell Crowe. And then Russell Crowe started dating Meg Ryan. Yep.
90s. Love that.
90s love triangles. All right, you got the non-Hawk Tuah, just Tuah?
I do.
All right, so Tua Tagovailoa went on the Dan Le Batard show. It's a podcast now, right?
Yeah.
All right. So he was on with the Dan Le Batard show, and Dan Le Batard asks Tua what the difference is between being coached by Mike McDaniel and Brian Flores.
The difference in practical terms between having a coach who did believe in you the way that he did, and the difference between that and what was happening with Flores.
Yeah. Well, to put it in simplest terms, if you woke up every morning and I told you you suck at what you did, that you don't belong doing what you do, that you shouldn't be here, that this guy should be here, that you haven't earned this right, and then you have somebody else come in and tell you, dude, you are the best fit for this. Like, you are accurate, you are the best whatever, you are this, you are that. Like, how would it make you feel listening to one or the other? You see what I'm saying? And then you hear it, regardless of what it is, the good or the bad, and you hear it more and more, you start to actually believe that. I don't care who you are. You could be the president of the United States. You have a terrible person that's telling you things that you don't want to hear, or that you probably shouldn't be hearing. You're going to start to believe that about yourself. And so that's sort of like what ended up happening.
What do you think, Steven?
I think it's too much.
That's what I thought. I know that a lot of people are coming out and saying, like, I can't believe Brian Flores treated Tua this way. The terrible person line is like, that's a little much. Like, I fully acknowledge that when you're the quarterback of a football team, you get a little pampered. You definitely, like what I really appreciate with the new Hard Knocks with the Bears is that Matt Eberflus, even though he is a defensive-oriented coach, he is tied to the hip with Caleb Williams. He praises, he gives him good confidence. He goes over games with him. He tells him what he needs to improve on. And it's a different way of going about things. You could tell that he's taking, he's coddling him a little bit. But it probably won't be like that during the regular season, but he's the franchise right now. So he's propping him up. Brian Flores comes from the Bill Belichick school of being a hard ass. And we all watched the Apple TV series where we all heard that Bill Belichick went after Tom Brady in the meeting rooms, and everybody was very critical of the way Bill handled that. And, we wonder about Josh McDaniels, the way he handled things with Derek Carr now. So maybe Brian Flores was too intense on Tua. But to me, the whole thing comes across a little whiny.
Yeah.
A little Gen Z-ish, where it's like, oh, this guy's mean to me. Ask Phil Simms what it was like being coached by Bill Parcells. It was brutal. And I know it's a different age, and it's just different. I get that. But I thought it was a little too much. At the same time, now that Brian Flores is labeled as this guy that's a hard ass with quarterbacks, and the fact that he's suing the league for, saying that he wasn't getting job opportunities because of the color of his skin, I highly doubt that Brian Flores gets another head coaching opportunity, because now he's labeled as this hard ass that's not going to be good for a rookie quarterback or any quarterback. And also the lawsuit, I'm sure, is not going to hold a lot of favor with owners. So
right.
I think it's damning for Brian Flores. It does. I don't think it makes Tua look fantastic, but I mean, if he felt that way, he felt that way. The line that I didn't like was this terrible person. All right, relax a little bit. Like that seems a little much.
Agreed. How much longer is Mike McDaniel going to be able to treat him that way if he's not winning games towards the end of the season? Like, you may be the best fit, you may be getting this positive affirmation, but I don't know. I mean, they're just different schools of training. It's been 2 years. Has he had this thing that he's been holding in, like this grudge? It sounds like it. I don't know. I'm not even going to change my opinion on them one way or the other. I think Tua seems to be a great dude on and off the field, and I don't really know anything about Brian Flores. I'm not going to make a judgment based off of this. I guess at the end of the day, I'm just surprised that he would talk about him in that way. Very surprised. I do think it comes off in that whiny way, like you mentioned, but I'm surprised that he would feel that strongly about it.
I'm not surprised he said that. I just think it's a little too much. I think I don't know, like, he could have easily just said, like, well, Mike is very affirming towards me, and Brian wasn't that way. And I respect the time that I had with Brian, but I think Mike McDaniel has definitely made me grow as a quarterback. But I agree with you, Steven. Go ahead.
Well, you mentioned Derek Carr and Josh McDaniels. Remember that after the season, he's like, you guys are going to learn someday. You'll know. Well, we haven't learned anything yet, because I think Derek Carr realized that he's going to be the bigger man here, and he's not going to say anything, especially when a guy like Josh McDaniels is down. And when Brian Flores has been through all he's been through, I'm surprised that Tua called him out that way.
Yeah. And I'm with you. I think that Mike McDaniel, from what I saw in Hard Knocks a year ago, is a little too coddly towards Tua. I think he hypes him up a little bit too much in practice, but then again, that's the way you do that stuff. I mean, we don't see what goes beyond closed doors, where he's probably looking over the film with him and being like, dude, what are you looking here? So
right.
I get it's different coaching. I mean, it's obvious you got a defensive oriented coach who's a hard ass, and you got Mike McDaniel, who's we all seen it. He's goofy, and he's more offensive oriented. So he's definitely going to, you know, play into Tua's capabilities a little bit more because he has to. He knew when he got the job, he's tied to the hip with Tua, and now they signed the contract with him. So he's the quarterback for the long-term future. But yeah, like, you know, I don't know. I don't give Brian Flores a pass because the way I thought he handled that whole situation that year with Tua, where he started him and then he benched him and he started him and benched him, I thought it was a little too much. But I didn't know he was berating him the way that Tua says he was. If that's the case, then no one likes that. I mean, that sucks. But I wouldn't let it be known to the world that, oh, this guy hurt my feelings.
Yeah. I wonder what his teammates think about it. You know, I wonder if they have any teammates that maybe were with the Dolphins that got along with Brian Flores at that time. I don't know.
Andrew Van Ginkel.
Andrew Van Ginkel? I'm looking for Van Ginkel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
It's a weird thing.
When Brian Flores did a press conference this week and acknowledged that he feels sorry that he did that to Tua, and he says he'll grow as a coach, he did have 2 Viking defensive linemen on left and right side of him to kind of like support him. So
Yeah,
I
flanking him. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I do think players like Brian Flores, and yeah, they're just defensive oriented coaches going to be like that sometimes. But I will also say, like, the hard ass coaches that we view in the league, like, I don't think Dan Campbell's berating Jared Goff like that.
No,
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. It's not what you want to instill. It's not how you instill confidence. But I don't know. I'm also that's also a coach who probably made a mistake. That's what he knew in coaching, and people can grow. And I think Brian Flores responded beautifully to it. I think his response was perfect. Like, he basically admitted, like, yeah, I don't think I coached the right way, but you know what? We're here now. Like, that's in the past.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought he handled it. I wish to have answered the question a little bit differently, but all he could be is honest in this world. So I do appreciate him for his honesty. And I will say the most confident guy in that clip is Dan Le Batard. My man, you know, sporting the gray beard and not wanting to dye it. Nice. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's been getting there.
Yeah, it's not a bad look. All right, should we go around the AFC South?
Go around the AFC South.
Let's do it. We've every show we've been trying to go through each division in the NFL and see what we like and what we don't like about the team this upcoming season. So let's go through the AFC South as I look up my notes and see if I still have them. I do. All right. So AFC South. Let's start with the hot, spicy team that is the Houston Texans. They made a lot of additions this offseason. They got Danielle Hunter. They got Stephon Diggs. They got our guy, Danico Autry, Azeez Al-Shire, Joe Mixon. They made a lot of big moves this offseason because they got C.J. Stroud, Rookie of the Year a year ago, and the people have high expectations for him this season. MVP probably. I don't know what he is in the Vegas odds and all that shit, but they look like one of the best teams on paper in the AFC South. The biggest question mark I have with them is, are they just going to fulfill expectations? Because a year ago they got hot, and now there's expectations with this team. And I think that the Jaguars are better than people think. So I don't think it's a done deal that the Texans are going to win the division again. So to me, it's just a matter of, are they just going to live up to the hype?
You know, it's a weird thing about the Texans because I was thinking about it. And as I'm kind of going through each team, really, because on paper, you're right. Like this to me should be a 12-win team if you're looking at it on paper. You think about the Al-Shire addition and what that means to a D'Amico Ryans offense. Obviously, Jimmy Ward's Jimmy Ward. Will Anderson Jr. coming off the edge. I mean, the guy's a stud. Danico Autry, they have to wait a little bit for Danico Autry. Isn't he suspended for a bit?
Apparently, that suspension may be thrown out.
Oh, okay.
Or appealed, I should say.
Don't they have Mario Edwards Jr. up the middle, too, at defensive tackle?
Yes, I believe so.
And then Derek Stingley on the outside. Like, on paper, this is a 12-win team, but really, the one thing that's going to stop them is how good the rest of their division is, because I think the AFC South is sneaky good here. obviously you got the Jaguars and the Colts both were 9-8 last season, and the Titans were a 6-win team. And I know we're going to go through it, but I think CJ Stroud is going to take that leap from year 1 to year 2. So I guess to be different, I'd say, can CJ Stroud avoid that classic sophomore slump, which we have seen in quarterbacks at times? Is he going to be able to get this team over the top? But at the end of the day, I trust DeMeco Ryans. I trust their offense. I trust Bobby Slowick, who's still there, right? He is still there.
Yeah, he's offensive coordinator.
I still trust him. Like, I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be a 12-win team, but I guess it just depends on what the rest of the division looks like.
Yep. And as we go to the other teams there,
or I guess also another thing I wrote down was Joe Mixon and whether he could stay healthy or not.
Yep.
I think that's a big thing.
Yep, but they also got who's my guy? Damian Pierce in the backfield as well. So they got a squad. They definitely got a squad. They got the receiving core. I mean, they might have a surplus on receivers. I know, like, some people are like inquiring on like John Mechie and Robert Woods because they really don't need them, but maybe you want the depth. Jacksonville Jaguars, they lose Calvin Ridley, but they gain who they get Gabe Davis, and they drafted Brian Thomas. So they got a receiving core there. They changed their defensive coordinator, and they look like a better team this year. I think that last year, a big reason why they didn't make the playoffs was just because Trevor Lawrence got hurt, and they forced him into games at the end of the year, and he looked bad. But I'm sure he'll be fine. He looked pretty solid for most of the season last year until the last 4 or 5 games. But with me, the biggest question mark is Trevor Lawrence. And I still, in my opinion, I feel like the players that you have question marks about should maybe go into seasons on lame duck years. So, and this wouldn't be the case for Trevor Lawrence. Like with Tua, he probably should have played for a contract this year. That's my opinion. I don't think that he's done enough to be given that contract. But I think with quarterback contracts now, you basically give him out for potential in order to stay competitive. And with Trevor Lawrence, now there's really not any pressure. He is the quarterback of the future. He's the only guy from that 2021 draft that's still on the original team that drafted him. So, to me, I think there is no pressure for Trevor Lawrence. But the biggest question mark to me is if he can get this team over the top. And now that he's got more competition in the AFC South, like a year ago, the Jacksonville Jaguars were looked at as that new up-and-coming team in the AFC South. And then they had the injury to Trevor Lawrence, and things went shitty towards the end. But now he's got competition with CJ Stroud. Is Trevor Lawrence still going to be that guy that we thought he was coming out of college, where he'll be the number 1 quarterback in the AFC South? He's got major competition now.
To me, I look at the offense, and I'm pretty confident in that. Like, those skill position players, including Christian Kirk, and like you mentioned, Brian Thomas out of LSU. We know how LSU receivers work out of the first round. They're normally pretty damn good. And Travis Etienne is a stud. I think they could be a really good offense this year, not to mention Evan Ingram. That's not my biggest question mark, because you mentioned that they got a new defensive coordinator. It's not just that. They've had an overhaul on their defensive coaching staff. That coordinator has brought in a new D-line coach, a new cornerbacks coach, new linebackers coach, a new defensive backs / the defensive assistant, and of course the defensive coordinator. And last year, I was looking back, the Jaguars were fine against the run, and obviously the addition of Eric Armstead is going to help that. But teams only threw more against the Niners, the Ravens, and the Eagles. Teams threw a lot against the Jaguars. I think they like 617 pass attempts or something. So with that, they threw a lot against them. But here's the only problem: their pass rush only garnered 40 sacks, and that's bottom 10 in the league. And so with this new secondary, with this new pass rush, that was kind of the I guess you could say that was the weaker part of the team.
No,
so
it was.
With this overhaul, with this new coaching staff, is that defense going to get over the hump? Because I really think that's what's going to separate them, not necessarily the offense. I think the offense, And with Trevor Lawrence, I know they disappointed last year, but I think Trevor Lawrence, if he just cuts down the interceptions, I think they'll be fine. I have more questions on the defense. If that defense thrives, we could see maybe a double-digit win team there.
You could, and yeah, they definitely need an overhaul defensively. But
Yeah.
they got a big year from Josh Allen, or Josh Allen Hines, I think he goes by now.
Yeah.
And they still want to see some stuff from Trayvon Walker, who was, flashed here or there, but he needs to show that he was worth the first overall pick. Yeah.
That was not a good pick.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I think he's been a solid player. He just hasn't put up the sack numbers that they were expecting.
Right.
Colts. The big thing a year ago was they were still in playoff contention for a good deal of the season. It was just because of Anthony Richardson being out because I think he broke his collarbone. So Gardner Minshew had to play for most of the season. And they look good. They were a good running team between Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss. And now Zach Moss leaves to go to Cincinnati. They do this offseason. They signed Michael Pittman to a new contract. They drafted my guy, Adonai Mitchell from Texas. And they got Joe Flacco to back up Anthony Richardson. But now this is the year where Anthony Richardson needs to show that he's the guy for the future with the Colts. And the problem I have with him is broke his collarbone. He played, I think, I'm just going to guess here, 5 games a year ago, but it may have been more than that or less. The thing is he's flashed at times a year ago, but there's not going to be a lot of room for growing pains. Like, that's what sucks for JJ McCarthy this year, being gone the whole season, is that when you're a rookie, you learn your mistakes early on. Now in year 2, where the Colts have, some mild expectations, he needs to show who he is as a quarterback. So he may struggle at times, but the problem with not playing a year ago is he didn't get a chance to grow. So Now we need to see his potential.
Did you see that thing from the Bengals?
I did, yes. Apparently in a joint practice with the Colts, Bengal defenders were like, all this guy does is run.
Yes. D tackle BJ Hill, throw the ball, bro. Is that all he does is run? He just throwing to spots. He doesn't see his receivers. The Bengals were just dogging on this guy. And I got to say, I'm rooting for this dude. I just think he's so big, so athletic, so talented. Like, he has this God-given body. He has this talent with an arm that you rarely see in a quarterback. God, he has all the tools. And I just want to see him really display those tools on the field and do it in a way that's successful in the NFL. Because, God, just to see that talent potentially go to waste, that would really suck. So after seeing that, I'm not like thinking, ooh, Colts are in trouble this year. Maybe they could be, but I'm hoping Anthony Richardson sees that, uses that to fuel what he does this year. And I hope he proves all the haters wrong. I really do. I'm rooting for that guy.
And I'm rooting for his brother because he has the same voice, that deep voice. Remember when he got drafted? He's like, yeah, my brother's going to be a Hall of Famer.
That 13-year-old. Yeah. But
he's more of a man than me.
But they didn't really do much as far as off-season moves. Not a lot of addition or subtraction. I think they re-signed Kenny Moore and one of their defensive linemen to a new deal. Though I'm really looking forward to Latu and what that'll looks like with
Latu
with Kwity Paye, Grover Stewart, and
DeForest Buckner.
Yep. And it's kind of the opposite as the Jaguars. Looking it up, teams ran the ball on the Colts a lot last year. They gave up over 2,100 yards on the ground, 22 rushing touchdowns, which is quite a bit. They did not have a problem in the passing game. So if they could shore that up, man, if they could stop the run too, that's my question with Latu. It's like, I don't think there's any question that the guy from UCLA can get to the quarterback. I don't think there's any question about that, but can he be a Khalil Mack type where he's almost as well known for stopping the run as he is for getting to the QB? I'm very curious to see how that works out. That's what I'm going to be looking for this year.
And then we got the Tennessee Titans, who brung up the rear a year ago, and they fired Mike Vrabel. They bring in our guy Bill Callahan's son, Brian Callahan, who was the offensive coordinator with the Cincinnati Bengals. They're sticking with Will Levis at quarterback, which, by the way, Did you see his mayonnaise fragrance commercials?
yeah.
Given?
Oh yeah.
Starting to like this guy. A year ago, you and I were shitting on him, being like, "This guy's afraid of what was it?
It was milk.
Yeah, he was afraid of milk. How's this guy
Afraid
gonna
of
read a
milk.
blitz?" And now,
Yeah.
and now he's leaning into it. He's eating bananas with the peel on. He's all about mayonnaise and his coffee, and he looked good. There's moments where he looked good last year. And they go get Calvin Ridley. They go get Tyler Boyd. They get L'Jarius Sneed.
He moved
they got
there.
a
Sneaky move with that one.
yeah. They
Keeps
really
looking to open up a little cap space for Chris Jones, so they trade for L'Jarius Sneed. Easy to forget that move, but it's pretty significant.
no. That was a significant move. They also got another cornerback from Cincinnati, Adunze, I believe his name is. Yeah. And they got I forgot the offensive lineman they took in the draft, but they added to their offensive line that they need help with. So yeah, I think they look good on paper. It's just the biggest question mark. And they also got Tony Pollard at running back. The question I have is Will Levis going to be that guy? Is he good enough to be the next franchise QB for that team? I don't know. He seems confident enough, and Brian Callahan's not attached to him. He can easily change quarterbacks if he wants to from a year and from now. But that's the biggest question mark I have is they got the offense. It looks like on paper they got the wide receivers. DeAndre Hopkins has got a little bit of an injury, but yeah, just biggest question mark is Will Levis going to be good enough?
My biggest question, I think this team's just a mystery through and through. Just the draft, whatever. J.C. Latham might be
that was it.
J.C. Latham might be a really solid left tackle. And they made all those moves, but dude, the amount of guys they let go in free agency and the amount of guys they signed from different teams, and then you look at the coaching staff. I mean, we could try and say, oh yeah, this is a 6-win team like they were last year, but with everything that they have now, and this from last year, I'm not going to give up on my man Tony Pollard. I'm not going to give up on him.
All right.
He became the bell cow of the Dallas Cowboys, and I was asking for that, and he became the bell cow, and he kind of stunk. So
what the hell's that voice?
I don't know. Kind of doing like a little Dallas thing. So I'm rooting for my guy Pollard. Tajay Spears. I like Tajay Spears. Don't know what to make of the rest of the offensive line. Haven't really heard of him. And I love Hopkins. Love that man. Except he's probably going to be trapped in a little bit of Sidney Sweeney's Instagram if he's not too careful.
I saw that, man.
Little.
He got lost in the sauce there.
Excuse me. I gotta take a sip of water because that made me thirsty. With how thirsty he was, man.
I mean,
I went to John Gruden there. But yeah, dude, I was looking at the team, looking at the roster, looking at the coaching staff. It's all different. It's completely different. I don't think anyone knows what to expect from the Titans this year. I really don't.
I think they're going to be better offensively because I think Brian Callahan will be a good play caller for them. It's just, I think, will it all add up this season? There may be some growing pains. They needed to retool the whole team. So they're rebuilding. But they're going to try to win in the process. So, I think offensively they'll be better. I think defensively they should be better too. With how competitive that division's going to be, I have a hard time seeing them, be better than the Texans or the Jaguars or even the Colts right now. So it may just be that they need a year to learn how they're all going to gel together.
Right. Yeah. If you had to, do the super morbid scenario, put a gun to my head and ask me, the first through fourth, I'd probably just go, Texans, Jaguars, Colts, Titans. That feels like that's the order, but I don't think anyone really knows. I really don't.
It's only because the Titans, as you said, are a mystery.
Yes.
And by the way, DeAndre Hopkins with that Sweeney, what's her name? Sidney Sweeney?
Yeah.
Yeah, my man looking like Juju Smith-Schuster out there all horny. By the way, Juju needs a job because he got released from the Patriots a couple weeks ago. My man is just unapologetically horny on Twitter. Everything he tweets is like he'll be like like I said a couple weeks ago, like watching Team USA women's volleyball, and he's like, "Damn, I love this sport." It's like, all right, Juju, calm down, get out the house.
He's a streamer. He loves that.
He apparently does. All right, we're gonna do a new segment here that we've been talking about for a while, called "I Give It Till."
Okay.
I give it till.
I only have 3 of them. Is that okay?
I have 5.
All right, cool.
You go ahead and start, Stephen. Go ahead. We'll trade off. You start with your first one. So the basis of this thing is we give each other a scenario. So I give it till, and we give how long it's going to be until this said thing happens. So go ahead, Stephen. Start off with your first one, and I'll answer.
This I don't know if this really is how the game is supposed to be played, but I'm going with it anyway.
All right.
And this is all based on the fact or this is based on whether Brandon Ayuk actually signs with the Niners, which I think he will. I give it till week 3 before fans start turning on him because he underperforms and they're like, well, you missed all of training camp. What'd you expect? And then fans get all pissed off at Brandon Ayuk. Then there becomes this little player to 49ers social media war. I see that happening. I give that till week 3.
I think that's already happened.
Damn, you're right.
I think fans have already turned on Ayuk.
Damn, you're right. That's not a good one.
Now, if
What a
if he
start to this new segment.
if he signs the deal, then people are like, yeah, we got him back. But then if he doesn't perform right away, and it's like this guy took all offseason off to, hold in, then fans will turn on him. So it hasn't gone into full effect yet. You all right?
It's my hold in.
Oh, okay, thank you. I have to potty. I was trying to be Wacko from Animaniacs. But yeah,
I give it till
would,
week 3. I give it till week 3 until they've just totally turned on him and they're done. They're done, even though he's might still be very good wide receiver after that.
Well, in the same vein of that, I give it till Labor Day weekend until we get some finality with this shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've had my hopes up. I even saw a tweet last night from the ghost of Bay Area Bob that something was going to happen today with Ayuk. If anything was going to happen with Ayuk, it should have been today, because they were practicing later in the day. Kyle Shanahan was a little late to our interview today, and I was like, are they trying to get a little something done with Ayuk there? Nothing happened. Nothing materialized. And now they're getting on a plane tomorrow to go to Vegas. I doubt that Shanahan is going to have time to negotiate with Ryan Williams and Ayuk. So I don't think they're going to do anything in the next 2 days. Maybe the weekend. Highly doubtful. I give it till Labor Day weekend until we find something out with Ayuk.
Wow.
Yeah, hold in.
All right, what's your next one?
Next one I got is, so Michael Penix did not play at all this last preseason week, and he's not going to play again, which I was like, that's interesting. Why are they doing that? And I was joking around on Twitter being like, well, that means they're going to trade him because they don't need him. So I heard 2 theories, one from Mike Florio and one from my guy, John Middlecoff. Mike Florio believes that Kirk Cousins is not going to be ready for this season. So they're getting ready for Penix to start the season. And I'm like, I've seen Cousins practice quite a bit in clips I've seen. So I think Cousins is going to start the season. Middlecoff believes that they're not playing Michael Penix because they don't want any added fuel to the fan base to be like, look at Michael Penix. Look at him go off in the preseason. If Cousins doesn't look good, then there's not material for the fans to lose their shit and be like, just play the guy. It's going to be there regardless. I lean towards what Middlecoff said. But I give it till week 1 of 2025 until we see Michael Penix.
Wow.
Now, I give it till week 1 until we start seeing people question if Michael Penix should start over Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, the first 3 weeks, he's got the Steelers, good defense. He's got the Eagles, pretty good team. He's got the Chiefs. What if they go 0-3? It's gonna go fast. I bet you right away we're going to see people on ESPN be like, Cousins isn't the guy, put Michael Penix in there.
That's why I said till week 5. I said
week 5 until he starts, or week 5 till when?
That was gonna be my next one. I give it till week 5 till we see Penix starting.
Wow.
For the Atlanta Falcons. I give it to week 5
Then why they pay him all that money, Cousins?
Because they could just trade him if they want. Cousins will. There's going to be a team that needs a quarterback. I don't know. What if Anthony Richardson looks terrible for the Colts? Right? And actually, that kind of leads me to my next one.
We'll go for it.
I give it to week 7 that Anthony Richardson is not the starting quarterback, and they go with Joe Flacco.
Whoa.
Boom. Week 7.
Ugh.
I give it till week 7, even though I'm rooting for Anthony Richardson, and this goes against everything I had in my AFC South preview. I give it till week 7 until they start going with Joe Flacco. Joey Flacco Donuts. Joey, what's up, bro, Flacco?
And you think it's just, is it an indictment on Anthony Richardson for the future, or just like he's not ready for the here and now? Let's try to win some games with Flacco.
I think it's going to be exactly that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's crazy. I don't think that's crazy. I actually think
because I think on week 7 that's when they are just done with a couple of games on the road and they're back home. So I think that time that's where they're going to go with Joe Flacco.
All right. Okay. All right. I like that one.
Yeah.
All right. This one is going to really dictate the Raiders season. I give it till, and this makes sense because this is when the trade deadline would be. I give it till week 9 until we see Devontae Adams on a different team.
Oy.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So what would need to be the record? I think we talked about that.
2 wins.
2
and
wins.
And you and I have looked at the schedule. I'd say that's probably accurate.
It could happen.
Yeah.
It could happen. But who knows, man? This team's running off vibes, baby. Vibes looking good with the Raiders, with the good vibes looking good with the silver and black. You see guys doing little impersonations of Max Crosby, Dylan Laub, or whatever that guy's name is. What is it? What do they call him? They call him B Rabbit. They call the
you know what's funny
running back a B Rabbit.
It's funny, Steven. Then now you're all about like, yeah, the good vibes. Yeah, whatever. We can't live off good vibes or win championships off good vibes. I was saying that a year ago when they were fucking, puffing smoke with cigars in the locker room.
Good vibes, Derek. Good vibes only.
This team is all about good vibes. From the coach to the quarterback, it's all about just what makes the team happy. And that may not be enough to win.
I've called out a lot of social media people for being hypocritical. And today I've been hypocritical on 2 fronts. But I'm all about the vibes right now, Derek. I changed my mind mid-podcast. Smoking those cigars like this. Remember that one time Max Crosby smoked a cigar and he smoked it like a blunt? Or it might have actually been a blunt.
I remember. Your guy, Max Crosby, man.
Mm-hmm. All about vibes, Derek. All about vibes. Yeah, I could see that happening, though. I could see it week 9. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. You got any more?
I got nothing. on Give It Till.
All right. I got one more. For you.
Uh-huh.
I give it till December of 2025 that Farhan Zaidi is fired.
Wow. I wouldn't even think of it outside of football.
Yeah. I think everybody is waiting for Farhan to be fired this offseason. I'm going to tell everybody, I don't think so.
Yeah, they might have to wait one more year. That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one. You know what? I'll take it a step further, Derek.
Oh, okay.
You're wearing that hat. And this was something I was going to ask you towards the end of the podcast, but I'll work it in. Did you see what Steph Curry did? Did you see it?
Is that real?
Did you see what Steph Curry did?
Yeah, I saw the rumors. So he apparently, from what the internet tells you, is that Steph Curry took off Warriors point guard from whatever social media header he has.
He's a believer. He's a father. He's a husband, a founder, philanthropist. Geez, Steph, stop showing off. And Olympic gold medalist.
Well, don't forget actor.
He forgot actor. And he also says, I don't know how to pronounce that Bible verse, but there's a Bible verse in there. No Warriors. No Warriors. So I give it till 2026. Steph's a Warrior. And that's it. Based off one Instagram post, Derek. How about that?
Yeah, I don't.
Stick that in your one cup and drink it.
I think Steph stays with the Warriors the rest of his career.
You think so? Huh?
I think so. And I honestly think that after his Olympic performance, are we all obligated to at least try to watch that new show he's in on Peacock?
Oh, I want to watch that. I heard it's really good.
Yeah, my former roommate texted me and said it's not bad. Steph's actually funny in it. I'm like, I don't know. It looks terrible.
No, dude, I'm in on it.
All right. What's it called? Mr. Throwback?
Yeah, because Steph has been, and I'm kind of like perturbed, I'd say, by the Bay Area media not questioning him enough on his movie taste. This guy,
Much Ado About Nothing?
no, but this guy in college dressed up as White Goodman in the Globo Gym Purple Cobras,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
He referenced Wedding Crashers in his MVP speech. Like, he talked about how him and his sister would quote movies all the time. I don't think Steph gets enough love for how much he knows about movies and the fact
He's
that
a
this is what
bro.
he wanted to do.
He's a movie bro.
Yes, he is. So I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. I think it's going to be really good. So, and I've been reading good reviews on it, and I think there's one from the LA Times that said that if he wants, I mean, he's not doing anything like super dramatic, but if he wants, he could have a future on the big screen.
All right. Okay. I mean, I do love Ego Wodum, who was on SNL. She's in the show. Actually, I don't know if she's on SNL anymore, but yeah, she's on that show, I guess.
She might be on SNL.
Still? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our new segment. I give it till.
I give it till.
I think it's pretty good. I like it.
It's all right. It's a
All
work
right.
in progress.
All right.
That's how these segments go, Derek. We try it out. We
It's
give it a
workshopping.
trial
It's
run.
workshopping.
Yes, exactly. This is like a Formula One race. You see what you got on the first practice, and then you do it again. Then eventually you have to qualify. Then you have the final race. And once we're in the NFL season, oh man, that thing's going to be magical.
All right. Okay. I like it. We'll wait till
I give it till week 5 when it turns into magic.
This segment?
Yeah.
I give it till week 5 until we forget that was a segment.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And then
We've done that.
Yeah. We definitely introduce new things and then we forget to do them.
We don't forget to do them. We just we do new things and then we realize that might have been a one-time thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's not really much else to build on.
Yeah. But we do love our old classics. John Fisher of the week / Jackass of the week. I don't have one today, so I'll wait till we do our next podcast, which I think we're planning on Sunday. But full disclosure to everybody, Elena's wedding is this Saturday, and if I know a good time with Elena, we will be in no condition to do the podcast the next day. However, Raiders are playing the Niners. I feel like we got to say something about it, so we'll try our best to do a show Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll try.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to. We could get it done.
Yeah, I may need a lot of McDonald's and water.
Correct.
But real quick before we get out of here, let's finish up with some pop culture catch up. And Steven, I've been waiting a long time to get your opinion on this one. Nick Cage, John Madden. Do you see it?
No, I think it's still one of the worst decisions I've ever heard. What the hell? Nick Cage, it's already a questionable thing to do a movie on John Madden in the first place. I don't think
his whole career, just the video game stuff.
I don't know how much you need that. I know they're trying to maybe build off the success of, I don't know, Air or something.
Yeah.
But what the Nick Cage? It made no sense, dog.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah,
this guy's stealing the Declaration of Independence one day. The next, he's turning into a Skull Ghost Rider thing. Then the next, he's
not a thing, just Ghost Rider.
Then the next, he's
Johnny
turning
Blaze
into a sorcerer, and the next, he's playing himself. John Madden, Nick Cage, get out of here.
Yeah, Nick Cage has never been a actor that will play a real person. But I do wonder, the way this movie sounds, could it be possible that like this turns into more of like the way Air is, where it's not a movie that features Michael Jordan, it's the people making Michael Jordan's shoes. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised that this John Madden movie is not really a lot of John Madden. I think that you see maybe Nick Cage pop up here and there as John Madden, but it's really about the EA executives that put their asses on the line to make a football video game.
I hope. I can't. If it's, how are they going to do that? Like, how is he? Doesn't look like him. Doesn't sound like him.
Yeah, I like me and Alana are making fun of it, but just like, how's that going to sound? I want to make a video game, a football video game, where you get all 22 guys on the field, and then I'm going to take my face off. Just, yeah. I thought John C. Reilly could have been better. I don't know.
Not Frank Caliendo, right?
I mean, Frank Caliendo is great, but he's not big enough to be Madden.
He also does like an impression that's kind of, it's making fun of him. It's making fun of him.
Yeah, but in a goofy way.
Right. You can't have that for this type of movie.
No, I mean, no. Like, yeah, like when Adam McKay was making Vice, he didn't get Will Ferrell to play, George Bush. He got Sam Rockwell to play him.
I'd even have Adam McKay doing John Madden.
Well, the original guy was supposed to be Will Ferrell. I don't know what happened now.
That's right.
Yeah, think about that. Will Ferrell was supposed to play Dr. Jerry Buss and John Madden and lost both roles.
Tough scene for Will.
I feel bad for Will. Real quick, just some stories I want to get your opinion on real quick. They're in the pop culture realm.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were going to make it, Steven. Jennifer Lopez divorces Ben Affleck again.
Ugh, it's a real shame.
I know. You feel nothing?
First time they've been divorced, Eric. Just the first time.
So they were just dating the first time?
They were engaged. Then they broke it off.
Yes. Yeah, on the off-air podcast, we went through the list of Jennifer Lopez's lovers in the past.
Yeah, J-Lo.
She loves divorce.
Yeah, seems like she's pretty high maintenance.
She's big on the old divorce. The first one that came to mind, and this probably aged well to get away from this guy, Sean Combs, Puff Daddy. Then she went to Ben Affleck, where they were Benifer. Then she dated, actually, maybe out of order here, but she dated a few backup dancers that were with her. Mark Anthony, I Need to Know. Alex Rodriguez. So, yeah, she, I don't know if she divorced all those guys, but she's been married and divorced quite a bit.
I just want Ben Affleck to be happy, man.
I'm sure he'll go back to Jennifer Garner.
Sure. Jennifer Gardner, because she's just gardening all the time now.
Stop it.
What?
And apparently they wanted, I don't know if you're making fun of me for the way I pronounce it. Oh, no, it's D. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, she's literally a gardener. She has like her own vegetable thing.
Yeah, isn't she doing that in the what commercial? The What's in Your Wallet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And by the way, I guess they were gonna have Ben Affleck cameo as Daredevil in Deadpool versus Wolverine, and Jennifer Gardner was like, "No, thanks."
Oh,
yeah,
damn.
And apparently they were gonna ask Halle Berry to come back as Storm. I would have been all down for that.
That would have been sick.
Love me some Halle Berry.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, I don't know if you saw this. According to Deadspin, or is it Dead? No, it was probably a different publication. Regardless. Are you ready for a Chick-fil-A streaming service?
Huh?
Yeah. Let me actually get the actual article so I'm doing this justice and what the publication was. Hang on. Hold the phone. Give me a second. Everybody calm down. Relax. Relax, everybody. I'm pulling it up. Okay, here we go. From Deadline. Close. Chick-fil-A is moving aggressively into the entertainment space with plans to launch a slate of originals for its own streaming platform.
Its own stream, like original movies, original TV shows.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of Christian programming. I bet you that. The only problem is the streaming platform will not be active on Sundays.
That's a joke, right?
Of course it is. Like, what the fuck? Like, McDonald's Plus, you can watch a bunch of, like, behind the scenes of Ronald McDonald and Grimace.
We need a biopic on how they came up with the Chick-fil-A sauce recipe. Like the
There you go.
founder.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, The Founder's a great movie, actually.
Yeah, it's
So
awesome.
what are we streaming for restaurants? What the fuck are we doing here?
Chick-fil-A is an institution, man.
Never been a big fan.
Don't doubt the people from the South who love themselves from Chick-fil-A. One time I was in South Carolina and there was a field trip at Chick-fil-A. A field trip
Yeah.
to a fast food restaurant.
I lived in Houston, Texas for a good deal of time, my friend. Houston, Texas, Austin, Texas. They love their Chick-fil-A. But as soon as I found out that place is not open on Sundays, I was like, the chicken can't be that good, my friend.
Someone needs to like hack into it and hack into the streaming service and have like Food Inc. on there or Chicken Run. It'd be a good one.
Oh, Chicken Run. Yeah. With Mel Gibson, who I'm sure loves Chick-fil-A. Mel Gibson. I love chicken, but I'm not a fan of Jews. That's Mel Gibson. That's a slogan. All right, last one here. Have you heard of this movie coming out from Francis Ford Coppola called Megalopolis?
Yeah.
Adam Driver is the star of the movie. There's a bunch of other people in the movie. This is like Francis Ford Coppola's first movie in a long time, and he's been, I guess, accused of some touchy-feely stuff on sets. But he's like defending, like, I'm Italian. I'm just like that.
About the movie.
Yeah, exactly. So apparently the trailer for Megalopolis came out today. Did you see this, Steven?
I did.
And the whole trailer is a bunch of negative reviews of Francis Ford Coppola's movies. And I was like, this is actually pretty original. I like this. Problem is, none of them are real. None of the critiques of movies like The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, or Dracula, they were all fake. And they accredit it to more or like actual publications, like Entertainment Weekly or actual writers that review movies. So while this trailer was getting a ton of buzz and clicks, they had to take it down within a matter of hours since they posted it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They had to change the whole trailer. So
that's
you can't find this trailer on, like, I was like, when I saw it this morning, I was like, hey, we should do another trailer review thing. But you can't get it on YouTube now.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
Looks awesome. But
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of it's weird. Like I was like, I kind of getting like Cloud Atlas vibes from it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a fable. When it says that in the title, a fable. I'm like, is that okay? How good is this really going to be?
Yeah. Well, that's all I got, Steven.
Yeah. If we're doing a pop culture catch up, something I watched for the first time recently, Bloodsport.
Which one's that?
With Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, I've never seen that, but people say it's awesome.
It is so bad,
Oh.
but it's so good. It is 80s bad, but 80s good. The martial arts is not too bad. It's really not, but it's Jean-Claude Van Damme's first movie, I think, the first breakout role. The Muscles from Brussels really does not know how to act, but damn it, does he know how to do the splits?
Have you ever seen the was he like in the original G.I. Joe movie?
I don't know.
I'm not very familiar with Jean-Claude Van Damme's work.
Yeah, I'm
But
not
he was-
either.
He was definitely trying to be like Schwarzenegger in the 90s.
Yeah, but he's doing it with actual like martial arts and stuff. Schwarzenegger was just big. It's such a it's just the quintessential 80s film. The script's awful. The dialogue's terrible. There's no actual
Street Fighter, that was it. Street Fighter, my
Street
bad.
Fighter. There's like, there's nothing like with the characters. It's like all that likable. It's just so 80s. It's great, man. It's got like the synthesizers. It's just like it's in like the same vein as Roadhouse. Just awesome.
All right. Well, the original Roadhouse.
The original Roadhouse, yeah.
Not the Conor McGregor one.
No. And the main villain in this is like, I mean, it's just like you've seen Balls of Fury, right?
No, I haven't.
Oh, well, then never mind. Balls of Fury is basically just a ripoff of Bloodsport.
Okay, all right.
But it's it's great if you like the 80s crappy movies.
All right, I'll check that out.
You should.
I will. I will, Steven.
The amount of slow-mo that you get with Van Damme going, it's so bad.
Yeah. I'll get around to watching that one. I'm almost done with The Bear, the first season. Did you watch it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say the first season, it's good, but I don't really know what everyone's so hyped out with the show. I hear it picks up in the second season, though.
Yeah, it's the characters. You fall in love with the characters.
Yeah, but I said this on the off-air show. They're all fine. They all scream at each other. I still don't know why they call it The Bear. Is it because of the guy's last name?
You'll find out.
Okay. I mean, great. I had to go through one full season of a show to really get to the meaning of the show. I think that's ridiculous.
And the final villain was Bolo Young. Have some respect, nice guy. Yeah, wasn't he like the he was like a bodybuilder from Hong Kong or something. I read up on him. I think he was considered like the he was called like the Chinese Hercules or something.
Huh.
Yeah, big boy. He kept on moving his moving his pecs throughout the movie. That was great.
AJ Cruz. Derek strikes me as someone who's hard to please. Keep watching,
right.
Derek.
AJ, you are damn right.
I'm just I'm sorry. I'm very picky.
Such a harsh movie critic. It's brutal.
And especially with my shows. If you do not pull me in the first episode, I'm out. But I've tolerated the Bears, so I'll keep watching it. All right, everybody. That's all we got for tonight. We will attempt to be back on Sunday, but no guarantees. Raiders and Niners play on Friday. Doesn't sound like anybody from the Raiders is playing, but it sounds like a bunch of people for the Niners are playing as far as the offensive starters. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, offensive starters and stuff. And we'll see about Brandon Ayuk. But I did ask my guy Matt Mayoko when he was on with us, and he told me don't wait for this thing to happen anytime soon. Right. So we will see when this goes down. Until then, we may see you guys on Sunday. To all everybody in the chat tonight, Otis Bird is the word. AJ Cruz, Ernie 1, Ernie 2, Tacky for a little bit of time. Skills, Jesse to call out Steven about his hypocritical take on Hawk Tua girl. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, everybody. We may see you on Sunday. Until then, Steven, say what you always say.
As we always say on this program, if she don't Hawk Tua, we don't talk Tua. All right. Thank you, everyone. Good night.